Hi, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Brienne.
And you're listening to
Just Haunted House Things. We need lights now for that. Yeah. I think we're at the point where we need lights.
Yes. And an air horn.
Yes. Okay, why do we not have like an entire like synthesizer table set up for sound effects?
Soundboard? I mean,
if only we knew someone who took audio engineering.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, well, today we are joined by our lovely friend, Alexa.
Thank you, Alexa, for being here. As you can she already popped in, little perks of air hornness and stuff like that.
Alexa and I worked together at The Haunt, which is very exciting. But Alexa also just got back, well, not just, but like a few months ago now, had gotten back from a wonderful trip in Japan, and I've been dying to pick Alexa's brain because Alexa went to multiple haunts in Japan.
So cool.
And I'm so excited to hear all the things that she has brought back with her in terms of like knowledge, insight,
hilarious stories, embarrassing stories.
Just all of it.
Did you almost pee your pants? That's what the people want to know.
That's what they want to know. But before we get into that, can you tell the listeners who you are, what you do, why the heck you're on this episode, why you've decided to join us on Just Haunted House Things, aside from the fact that you went on an epic trip.
And we're awesome.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm. So my name's Alexa, and I'm actually Just Haunted House Things #1 fan.
Ooh. Thank you.
I just declared it right now.
And now there will be a battle royale for the winner.
Mm-hmm. Come at me. But yeah, I started working in the haunted attraction industry in 2017. And I worked my way through being an actor to then like being a supervisor and running the house, to now I just completed my first full year as an animatronics technician.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
That's sick.
Okay, I have so many questions just in regards to that. What has it been like being an animatronic technician? Like, has it been really fun? Has there been lots of like what has the experience been like for you in your first year? And then maybe next year we can have like a year two, like
it's been a bit of a carnival ride, to say the least. There's so many assets that I am now responsible for, which is crazy to think, because I'm only in my 20s. I'm an adult in training. All these things to be responsible with, So like dealing with animatronics sometimes feels nicer than dealing with humans. So that's nice.
True.
It is. True. Yeah. And I think just to be able to like fully commit to being a haunted house nerd and just hanging out in these haunted houses every day is fantastic, and I love it. Obviously there's challenges with every job, but when I'm in a house surrounded by skeletons and wolves and it just makes it all go away.
Well, that's how that works.
It's a happy place. It's a happy place.
Yeah, it really is. Like, on Friday, I was having so much fun dancing around, working on the animatronics, that when I got stuck inside one upside down, it was fine,
But that was like totally supposed to happen, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're meant to do that.
Yeah.
Of course.
You're just testing it out. Come on.
You have to see what it looks like while being upside down.
Because what if it happened to be upside down one time, right? And then you'd need to know how to fix it. So really, you're just doing a lot of preventative maintenance.
Game, actually.
That's right.
Yeah.
One learning moment, though, have your radio on you, not near you.
The amount of times that has happened to me, too, where you're like, damn it, now I have to leave where I am. But it's hard to leave from where I am.
Yeah.
Stuck in a precarious position.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I also have a lot of questions about the whole like path of your haunt career is like, what made you want to take, I don't want to say a step out, because I know that you're still active within like the haunt and the acting part and the creative side, like the physical create side of it. But like, what made you want to do something, I guess, what people would consider behind the scenes? Like, what made you make that decision to cross over?
Yeah, I think it was a multitude of things that like I think all of the spooky stars in the sky kind of aligned. Because what had happened was I spent a few years working in film, and in 2023, of course, film went on strike again. But I was kind of just in the right place at the right time and knew the right people that I got in with the build crew. At my company, and I was able to work alongside them building a brand new haunted house, which was awesome and life-changing. And one of the lead technicians with the company, he was, I think he was kind of looking to retire. And like I walked up to him one day at work and I was like, hey, like I'd love to learn more about the animatronics, if you ever have a chance to just show me a couple of things. And he went, oh, okay. And whether he saw a retirement plan in him or a future in me, that I don't know. But next thing I knew, I was on a Zoom meeting with a scary person that's now my boss. But it's great, it's a lifestyle where I can now have a dog and sports and still have just crazy zany things happen in my day-to-day work, as well as be able to fully commit into like the haunted attraction industry, because before I was just a part-time seasonal employee, but now I'm a full-time employee.
Yeah.
My job is full-time haunted house.
Yeah.
Say that.
The dream.
That's so good.
The dream.
No, and honestly, as someone who got to witness like that progression of you, it's actually been quite an honor to witness it. Just to see that progression of like young person trying to figure out what they want to do, and then this path just kind of like presented itself to you and you're like, fuck yes, that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
And just to see you go full hands-on deep end into it, it was brilliant.
Some would say balls to the wall.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I'd also like to kind of tag onto that, because as I don't work at the haunt at the same time as you guys do, but I've known you first through the haunt and then through just like friendship and socialization and activities and stuff like that. I want to say that even from someone who's not working with you daily, I've noticed this beautiful confidence and like growth come with you as well. And this may be snobby and theater snobby to say, but I always respect the people more who are willing to understand the other side of like the job that they're on. So like in the theater growing up, it's like actors, sometimes there are people out there who are like, oh, I'm an actor, I don't need to do the stage technician kind of stuff. I don't need to do the management. And I grew up doing both. And there's a beauty of understanding the whole concept of what you're doing when you can see it from both sides of the perspective. And that's something that I think is so beautiful that I've seen you do in this time, is just like you've taken the actor and the creative side, and then you've taken that creative side to the animatronic side. And it's really like, I've watched you in this past year just like expand your knowledge and just like become more confident in the space that you are in and who you are too.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful transition.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah, accept the compliments.
Fine.
We're all so good at it. I'll just sit here and say thank you and not feel awkward.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that we know kind of like your background and your history and like where you're going within the industry, what prompted you to want to go to Japan first off?
Yeah, so it was a rainy summer day in 2019. Literally, and it was me and two of my coworkers. We were standing outside of our haunted house. It was dead because it was raining. We had maybe like 30 guests
Oh
the
Lord.
whole day. And we were all just like, hey, we should all go to Japan. Okay. And
I like
then
how it wasn't, I want to go for ice cream. Let's go for dinner. No, fuck that. You know what? I want to go to Japan.
We're going to Japan.
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, and so a few global crises later, we finally made it. Just this past November 2024.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
How long were you there for?
I was there for just over 2 weeks.
Oof.
Yeah, and so me and one friend traveled there, and he was with us for a week, and we met our other friend who now lives there. So
Okay, cool.
shout out to you two, Julian and Jordan.
Hello.
What up?
What up? Okay, so you went to Japan. Did you have like, what's the word I'm looking for? Did you have like a plan to like go to all these haunted attractions beforehand, or was it kind of like a whim, or was that like the main reason why you went? Was there ancillary reasons why you went? Like, tell us the full deal.
All right, okay. I mean, for me, I've always wanted to visit Japan, to visit the motherland,
Right.
Yes.
where my ancestors come from. But also, I think like in the year leading up to doing this trip, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh, this would be a fantastic opportunity to see what a different part of the world does with their haunted attractions and
Right.
how they approach horror. And so like I remember for months I was just like refreshing their website every day for Universal Studios, like when is their Halloween Horror Nights dates gonna be and can I make it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
As you know, with the double-edged sword of working at a haunt, you're always at your own haunt, so you can never visit other haunts.
Yeah.
But finally the dates were released and there was like one day that I could make it. I was like, okay, boys, get that airplane started.
It's time to go.
Yeah. And so like throughout just like planning where I wanted to visit in Japan, like one of the first few things that I would Google is like, was there a haunted house there?
Nice.
That's cool.
I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
But yeah, within the 2 weeks, I managed to go through 5 different haunted houses.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Now, like, were they all kind of like the same type of haunted house? Like all just walkthroughs, or what were they like?
No, there's a whole bunch of different ones.
Oh my God.
Tell me.
I went to one that was done at Universal Studios.
Mhm.
There was I went to the 3rd scariest haunted house in Japan, thinking that that was the scariest thing that I'd ever gone through. And then the next day I went to the number 1 scariest haunted house in Japan and had the chemicals in my brains rearranged.
Oh God. I wasn't sure where you were going with that. I was like, I'm sorry, they did a chemical what to you?
Yeah. And then there was like a smaller theme park in Yokohama where there was 2 haunted houses. One looked like it was really inspired by dark rides, and then one actually was a dark ride.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Okay.
So I got from like every level of budget, every level of quality. It was a whole plethora of
That's
haunts.
so cool.
Oh, I can only imagine what the Universal one was, because I mean, we've gone to horror nights before down in the States, and it was pretty incredible. But I mean, let's be real, Japan kind of takes that everything they do and just tops everyone in the world. So I can oh my God, I can only imagine how incredible that was.
Yeah. Okay. You have to tell us your experience.
Yeah.
So I'll start with Halloween Horror Nights while my dog pants behind me.
We can't
Sorry
hear
if you can hear that.
but I can see him.
I just see him tail.
Yeah, so like literally not 10 hours after I'd gotten home from my final day at work, I was on an airplane to Japan. And we landed in Osaka quite close to midnight, if not midnight. And the next day we went to Universal Studios. So I don't really recommend going to a giant theme park with jet lag immediately after getting off an airplane.
I
and
don't think you
working.
need to listen to that audience. You can do whatever
No,
you want to
do what you
do.
want to do, and it actually sounds like the
It sounds
perfect
exactly
thing to
like you
do.
should be doing because you're not fully there. And so you can kind of immerse yourself in the experience a little bit more.
Just drink water, please.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, drink water.
Well,
Electrolytes.
You should always be hydrating. Everyone in the world, Hydration Nation.
Yeah, drink your water right now while you're
Actually,
listening.
yeah, that's
As we all do it right now. Cheers.
Cheers to the water. Oh yeah.
Makes me feel alive.
So Universal Studios in Japan, they approach Halloween Horror Nights differently. Where they only had one haunted house, which was open for the whole day. So we managed to get there during the daytime to visit the house.
Okay.
But at night, and you don't have to buy a separate ticket. It's all the same. You stay in the park and it just turns spooky at 7 o'clock.
Oh, that'd be
That's
cool.
Yes. And so there was 7 different scare zones of just actors.
Okay.
With one area that was called Biohazard, which is actually Resident Evil.
Nice.
They call it differently in Japan. I can't remember why.
Got it.
Which was more of like a live show that you get like a time ticket for. So to start off, the Chucky Carnival of Chaos 3D experience.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
So this was, I think, like the first time I'd ever actually gone through a haunted house at Universal Studios. Like I'd only ever experienced them through a tiny phone screen. So to be in there was really, really awesome. And I think like the first thing I started looking for was like, okay, where are the cables? Where are the sensors? Where are the speakers? Show me that we're the same, please.
They're
I'm
all
begging you.
so hidden.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I couldn't see a single one anywhere. Just the lights that were like expensive lights.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay, I get it. Fine.
I know,
Yeah,
right? Like,
Show offs.
literally. And the actors were all like, they were all popping out of curtains and like just like hidden hidey holes. They're just coming out of nowhere. It was incredible. And something that these 3D glasses did is that they really kind of altered your vision a little bit. So it was a bit harder to see, but also like your depth perception was just gone.
Oh, God.
So that really kind of helps with like the surprises of, oh my God, there's something right in my face. Where'd that come from? And they did a phenomenal job with their UV paint. The way that they did it helped like extend the depth, but also like subtract the depth, which was
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
And like there was this one hallway, and I don't quite know how to explain it properly, but it was like there were like windows or like mirrors on the sides, with like faces, but they were like painted with like a bunch of layers. So
Okay.
like they looked really like 3D and realistic, and like when you walked past them, it looked like they were like moving and following you.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it was hard to tell like which one's real. They're all real. What is happening?
That's super cool.
Yeah. But what really threw me for a loop was at the end of the haunt. The like some staff members come in, like ushers, I guess, and they just kind of corral your group into this one room. And of course, this is Japan, so they're speaking Japanese to us, so I have absolutely no idea what's happening.
Right.
Okay, either something is about to hit the fan or this is the end. I don't know. Is this the earthquake and tsunami they were talking about? And then they lead us into this other kind of hallway, and at the end where we need to go is the bride of Chucky, and she's doing her ditty, and then she points behind us, and I'm like, what's going on? So we all look behind, and boom, out comes this giant mutated chunky Chucky, just making these awful sounds, and he starts sprinting towards us. I swear he's
Oh
on
my
stilts
God.
too. He's so big. And like, I don't know if you've ever been in a small crowd that's full of fear and starts running.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yes, but there was just so many levels of fear that were happening in that hallway.
There was people probably doing the freeze, people doing the fight, people doing the
Fight
yeah,
and
I'm like
flight.
running on my tiptoes so I don't get trampled.
Because Alexa, she's tiny. That's why.
yeah.
Like if anybody steps on the heel of my shoe, we're all
Yeah,
going
we're
down.
Down, and I'm taking you down with me.
Yeah. Chunky Chucky's getting you.
Yeah. I actually think like what you said there, how you were like, yeah, we got corralled into the same little spot, and you're in Japan, and so they're speaking Japanese to you, which is completely normal for them, but like fuck,
Yeah.
that could be really terrifying. Just like, I'm gonna push you into this room and I'm gonna talk to you, but you're not gonna know exactly what I'm saying, and then you just have to go with it. Like that's another layer for like the foreign visitors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I like that.
Yeah. Which then makes me think about the people who are come to the States or Canada and
Yeah.
they don't speak English, and they're probably doing the same thing, being like,
They're like, I don't know what you're saying to me.
but I feel like I'm gonna die. So that's
Yeah.
just like, that's a crazy perception I
Yeah.
haven't like
That's
looked.
a wonderful reminder
Yeah.
to anyone who is working in a haunt and maybe you don't know that the person speaks English. You can just say whatever you want as long as
Exactly.
it's in the right tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really helped like validate. Like I felt like my biggest weakness back when I was still acting was I could never come up with dialogue.
Mhm.
Right.
And now it was like going to Japan and getting scared in a language I didn't understand. I was like, oh, you don't actually have to say anything that makes sense
Yeah,
to be
no.
scary. You
You
just
can
gotta make
just-
sounds.
Yeah.
Make sounds that sound menacing and you're golden.
And just like whatever works for you and your character or
Yeah.
your demon, your inner demon.
Yes, yes. And then spoiler alert, there was a bonus scare at the very end when you're returning your glasses into the bin. An actor pops out of the curtain. And
Hilarious.
I like that. They think you're done. You're not done.
I love the just kidding scare.
Yeah. JK.
Mhm.
You thought you were
Yes.
done.
Yes. And so like I think we didn't mean to do it, but we kind of meant to do it, is we kind of just ended up only doing things at Universal that were like horror themed. So we went on the Jaws ride, which was super awesome. If you ever have the chance to go, it's so scary. The shark animatronics are huge
Yeah.
and they come very close to you, and some of them explode and catch on fire. It's incredible.
Do you
I need to go to Japan so badly.
do you go, is it like a roller coaster, that ride?
It's
No,
a boat.
It's a boat.
Yeah.
Is it a boat that does the big drop?
No.
Oh,
no.
cool. Then I'll go on this ride.
Yeah. Yes. The thrill factor is just the sharks and the animatronics.
Yeah.
Your boat's just tooting along.
Yeah. Throw me in a freaking haunted house with anyone trying to murder me, and I'm like, oh, this is really fun. Put me
Yeah.
on a fucking roller coaster ride or anything that drops, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no.
I am the same way. And they also had a 4D movie experience
Oh, cool.
that was tied in with Chainsaw Man, which I believe is like a super popular manga.
Okay. Yeah.
Wrong. Which is like, I think it's like a dog that's part chainsaw, and then he turns into a guy with hands for chainsaws and a face
cool.
for chainsaws.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know. So like the show was all in Japanese, there's no subtitles, so I didn't really know what was happening, but what I inferred from the screen was that a bunch of people were dying and their blood was spraying on me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
There
and
you go.
at one point they like blew air behind my ear. Ugh.
Oh,
And I was
freaking.
like, I was not ready for this level of intimacy with the pumpkin chainsaw guy.
Yeah, no thanks.
I used to do that as a scare. I used to
Just
go
little.
behind people. I'd either blow on them or I'd get up there and I'd like go, and just like sniff in their
Gross.
ear. Yeah, it just, something about the ears has always been like a
Yeah.
go-to.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's because it's so. Yeah, it's intimate.
It's very intimate. Yeah.
Mhm. It was crazy. So one of my friends had done horror nights before at
Mhm.
Universal. So he was our little spooky czar that we were relying on. And he said that the actors all come out of these gates. And so we looked online, and we saw the 7 different groups of actors that there were. There was the Chainsaw Chain Gang, the Psycho Circus, which were the clowns, Execution Enclave or Enclave, I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
And they were like demons, I think. No, sorry. They were like, I think like healthcare workers that were like serial killers. So they're walking around with, like power tools and gasoline and stuff.
Got it. Interesting.
There was possessed playthings. Sanctum, those were the demons. Tortured test subjects that were like human hybrids. So there's 7 in total. And so we thought that the coolest looking ones to see come out of the gate would be the Chainsaw Gang.
Yeah.
Because chainsaws. And so we're lining up. It's getting so crowded. This was the very last night of Halloween Horror Nights. So it was as busy as a park could get.
Right.
And like it's 7 o'clock hits and suddenly the big sirens come and all the lights go down and they're replaced with like the red warning lights that are rotating and stuff. And there's big announcements that like, oh, it's happening. And like, I'm standing there just vibrating. Oh my God. I've never experienced something this intense and exciting before with the haunts. Like, my life is going to be changed. And so we're waiting for this gate to open and we're hearing the Chainsaw Gang revving up their chainsaws. And then the gates open and they all come out. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. The gates open and they all come running out with their chainsaws and they're in like these like prison jumpers and they're coming out. They're and they're faces with these chainsaws, and then a bunch of like still actors came out with their chainsaws, which was so awesome. The sounds, the smells, it was incredible. And then following behind them was like the Blue Rose Gang. So the storyline that they were following for Horror Nights there was that all of the actors were zombies and that this Blue Rose Gang were like kind of like the cops or whatever, and they were there to protect us and to get to I don't know with the zombies, but to do something with the zombies. And so we got to see that, which was super, super awesome. And like, I remember this one actor came by and buzzed his chainsaw, and these 2 people in front of me fell over into me, and I went down, and I was like, this is the greatest moment of my life. And then we kept walking to go see the other things, and we walked like perfect timing into all of the clowns coming out. And there was a couple of clowns on stilts, and never in my life have I ever seen someone run on stilts, but this clown came out of the gate full sprint, like knees to their chest, just on a mission.
Like,
I love it. It's
Nope.
so terrifying.
Oh God, I would pee my pants. I already know it.
Yeah.
No.
It was so good. And it just like, it felt like every group of actors had like some sort of like creature or beast along with it. And the clowns had like this really creepy marionette looking thing that looked like it was being like puppeteered, I think, by an actor. So it was this giant rig that just like floated above the whole crowd. It was incredible. And so we made our way through the park to Infernal Sanctum where the demons were, and it looked like a lot of the masks were like pulled a lot of inspiration from samurai masks, which I thought was really awesome. And we stumbled across this like weird demon thing that had like horns coming out and then like lizard heads coming out at its chest. So we affectionately nicknamed it Lizard Titties.
As you do.
And I'm like giggling at all the videos I took because like you can hear me and my friends just like, well, maybe they're seeing out here or maybe they're seeing out there. Like we're just like analyzing everything like nerds do. And it was here where we got to experience the first dance of the night. Cool. So what they do in Japan, because the whole place is a freaking theme park, I love them, is every hour they would all stop, drop, and do a dance.
Wow.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it, like leading up to it, thinking like, oh, that's like, is that cheesy? That's kind of cheesy. I don't know. And then I was there and I watched the one guy dance to the song and I fell in love. That's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
The type of cheese you want in your life.
Yeah. Like
Literally,
it fit into the setting.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah,
great.
and like it was just seeing, I think, all of the guests just like fully commit to this dance and believe in it, that it was like, yeah, this is the greatest idea that's ever happened. Like, we're all getting hype and we're celebrating. The whole night honestly felt like a celebration of haunted attractions in a park.
That's
which was
cool.
incredible.
I like
That's
that.
cool. I love that. Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we continued on our way and we just briefly walked through the execution. How do I pronounce it? Enclave?
Enclave?
I think it's Enclave. Yeah.
Yeah, Execution Enclave. And we passed all of like 2 actors, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, there was one that was walking around that literally had gauze like wrapped all the way around their face. And I was like, how are you seeing? How did you know to scare me? Who are you? What is happening?
I love it.
Professionals. That's what they are. Professionals.
Yeah, and something that I noticed while we were walking through here that was so neat, that I truly appreciated, was like they were like regularly announcing through the PA system that like the rules, so like don't harass, don't touch, the typical stuff. But then they were also announcing like the safe zones in the park. So like, go here if you don't want to get scared.
I like that.
Which I really appreciated, because there was one year that I was a line actor as a clown.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the only place in the park that had clowns. And, every now and then we would get a guest that would come in and just be absolutely petrified. And we'd have to like say from a distance, like, this is the clown zone.
Yeah.
Go anywhere else and you'll be okay. We're so sorry.
Yeah. I love that.
We're just trying to clown around.
Yeah.
You can walk by us and it will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. I like the idea of a safe zone, because I don't know if in my mind, it kind of gives like an area where people aren't allowed. So then you're like, okay, well, I can go here to be safe, but the second I leave, I'm not safe. Like, so it kind of gives like a little bit more of an air of scariness and of anticipation in the park for a guest. Plus, also, it's kind of nice if you actually are scared to have a little breather and be like, get me the fuck out of here right now.
Yeah, a nice little decompression zone.
Yeah. Because, I like...
I was eating my purse.
Oh, rude.
That's rude.
Yeah, so, and then we entered the Possessed Playthings scare zone. And oh my God, I fully like astral projected. And we hung around in that scare zone for about an hour, and like my jaw was on the floor the whole entire time. Because another thing that I discovered is that they have like lights for each scare zone, but then they also play music for the scare zone. And I can send you a video if you want to like add the audio, but like it was like a creepy like nursery rhymes were playing, and I was like, oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
So was this like Possessed Play thing? My nickname on a weekend night? No. Sorry, you said that earlier, and I was like, oh God, this is all that's in my head. I don't care. Meander away. But was it like, so nursery rhymes? So it was like, was it toys? Was it like innocent kind of things that were becoming possessed?
Oh my God. So it was like their doll area. And there was so many different types of dolls. Like there was like a voodoo inspired doll on stilts, just like the straw monster with nails sticking out of it, which was incredible. There were a bunch of like porcelain dolls, and like they were like wearing like big like mascot heads, like that size.
Okay, so very like doll-like, over the top. Yeah.
Yeah, they were cracked, they were hairy, they were bumpy. It was incredible. There were like a couple of traditional Japanese style dolls in their kimonos and stuff, which one of them
really
was
cool.
super, super talented.
Oof.
There were also like marionette style dolls in their suits. There was what's the guy from Ghostbusters? The white thing, and he's playing the drum.
Oh, wait, the white thing from Ghostbusters?
I think, is it from Ghostbusters? It might not be.
Well, from
I don't know.
Ghostbusters, the white thing would be like the Stay Puff marshmallow guy, but
Okay, maybe I'm getting mixed up then. But I don't.
I need
There
to
was
know
something
now.
with the drum. And there was like, I think like I showed a video to some people back here. One of them was like, "Oh my god, I had that doll growing up." And I was like,
funny.
yeah. And like we were in there for so long that like one of my friends was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be over there lying down." Okay.
All right.
Yeah, one of them like squirted water on us with her little bouquet. That was cute.
That's funny.
Yeah,
like that.
and so then we stayed there and we got to see them dance again, which was super fun. And another thing I noticed was like their staff and like security and how they did it. So, what I am used to in my haunt in the land of Western, is like we dress up in ways to like, you know, make sure that people can see us, and it'll, you know, preventative measures, you know, with giant security guards in their bulletproof vests kind of a thing. I did not see any like security guard or any sort of like vest that is used to deter weapons. Like it was just regular staff members in their regular uniforms, just holding batons. Some were blue, some were red. I'm not too sure what the difference was. And like it was so busy that they were mostly just kind of doing like crowd control, like follow the baton, go this way, please get out of my way. There's a giant stilt piece coming through, kind of thing. Which was really, really interesting to see that they didn't have to go crazy with their security measures.
Yeah.
And like throughout the whole entire night, I saw like one single incident, which was just like a simple, like a guest had his phone up with the flash on and was getting too close to an actor's face. That was it. There was no bombs or hammers or people beating each other up or people on meth. It was just
what kind of a haunt experience have you had?
Listen, it gets weird. It gets weird.
It gets real weird real quick.
It gets weird at the haunt. What happens at the haunt stays at the haunt. Sometimes it goes home with you in PTSD form, but it's fine.
Oh,
sorry, a little too close to home there.
It's one of those things.
Yeah. Okay.
If fireworks put you on edge, clap your hands.
Oh no.
Oh, we live a fun life.
Yeah. We've lived.
Probably more than most people have.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm curious about how much that is, because like culturally in Japan you behave like you just adhere to the rules, like that's so entrenched into the culture there. And so I'm curious if like part of it is that, and then also just actually that's
probably
it.
Yeah. I because I was thinking as well, is it a psychoanalysis thing in the sense of, because people don't see anything like they don't see the security guards with the bulletproof jackets and the big like high vis colors and everything, that maybe they don't feel the need necessarily to act up. Because I mean,
they don't see the challenge.
Yeah, like with a lot of people, I know sometimes the situations that we've had at our haunt, it's been, maybe just some people puffing up their chest because they don't like authority, so they see it, so they kind of like it gets bigger than it should be, but not because of the reason for like the haunt or the actor or the scare factor, but because, you know,
Right. Because
big men tough.
Yeah.
So like, I wonder if that's like, because
That's
the lack of it, people are like,
the
I don't
other
need
part
to
of it.
act up. I'm just here to enjoy this experience. There's nothing to try and put my ego over on.
Yeah.
Definitely. And like it like, because you can feel the energy in a crowd too. And it was calm, happy vibes through the whole entire thing.
Aww.
And like, because it was so packed, it was so difficult to like have your moment with an actor. Like, everybody was just standing respectfully with their phones out, waiting, hoping that an actor would come to them.
Aww.
No,
That's
there's no
actually
chasing.
so nice. That's
Mhm.
so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like the dream that you want to sell to all first-time haunters.
Yeah, North America could never.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go scare in Japan.
Okay.
Honestly, let's do it.
I bet you like, and the makeup and then everything is just gonna be like, I mean, I love what we got, but that's gonna be top fucking tier over there.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, we're packing up our bags and we're moving to Japan. Bye bye.
Yeah. And like, I think where this really showcased the culture and the humanity of Japan was their newest scare zone, the Decadent Nightmares. Oh my God. It was
Fancy.
probably the smallest scare zone of the park, and it was absolutely packed. Like, this was the one moment where I saw a staff member and like I saw myself at my old haunt, like in them, because they were like up on top of a staircase, just like staring everybody down. But it was insane. Like, the guests were just in love with these decadent nightmares, which were vampires, by the way.
Yes.
So they were hot, sexy vampires.
Yes.
And the guests were just like swarming them. They were following them everywhere. Like, when you see little kids playing like ball games and they're one little group chasing the ball. That was the guests and the actor. And it was just incredible.
Wow.
It was insane. It was so packed. And like, me and my friends were standing there like, if this was our haunt back home, we would not have had a single actor outside. They all would have been like buddied up, like 7 people in one scare zone, like whatever it takes to survive.
Yeah. For
it
real.
was just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, we saw most of the scare zones, and then we headed into their BioShock show, which is a timed entry thing, and it was really, really fun. And I'm not super familiar with Resident Evil.
I am.
One of my friends was like a ginormous fan, so he was just bouncing off the walls, which was adorable.
Which one was that?
Julian.
Of course it was Julian. Of course,
Yeah,
Julian. This for me to you. Yes, I just rewatched all the Resident Evils. I love that game. Everything. Okay, there. I said my piece. Carry on.
So yeah, like, we all, like, this giant group, we all get brought into this stage area, and like immediately we're getting squirted on by water. It was just, they love to do that there, apparently, squirt people with water.
So you got squirted on with water. Go on.
Yes, by a zombie. And we round the corner to where like the proper show is gonna be, and there's like sets on either side of us. We're just in the middle of the street, and basically the characters, they all start fighting each other, and the monsters come out and they're fighting them, and at one point they're all like, everybody get down. So we're the crowd and we have to duck, and they start shooting above our heads and stuff, and it was just incredible. There was a whole bunch of stunts. We got like doused in water a few times, which was awesome. And it was just the most wonderful cherry on top of the cake to end our night at Universal.
That's awesome. And that's just all in one night.
Yeah.
That's
great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's like 7 different experiences right there. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then I'm sorry. That's awesome. I really want to know about the scariest haunted house that you went to, like the one that is named the scariest haunted house in Japan.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Okay. This house, my goodness. I visited the Labyrinth of Fear in Fuji-Q Highland, which is just off the base of Mount Fuji. And it's the scariest haunted house in Japan. It's almost a kilometer long and takes you almost an hour to get through.
That's insane.
And yeah. And I, being a 20-something adult in training, was an absolute fool for thinking that I could do it by myself. If I could go back in time and smack 4 months ago Alexa, I would.
So wait, neither of the other two decided to go with you?
Why not?
I think one of them had work, and then one of them was like, well, it's my last day in Japan. I'm going to go and do a whole bunch of other things instead of just one haunted house, which is valid.
Very fair.
Sure.
I understand.
Yeah. But also, it was funny because the night before he mentioned, he was like, oh, he said something about like being nervous about doing the house by himself. And I was like, fool. When would you ever be so scared that you couldn't do a haunted house by yourself?
Eat your own words, Alexa.
Yeah. I was eating my own words for weeks. So the awesome thing about Fuji-Q Highland is you don't have to pay to go in if you don't want to. You can either purchase like a proper pass where you don't pay for any of the rides or attractions, or you go in for free and you just pay for the attractions. Mm-hmm. So me being an absolute weenie when it comes to rides, I was like, sick, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do the haunted house and then I'm going to go. My bank loves it. My heart loves it. My spooky little soul loves it. And it took me a little while to find this house because it was buried in the back of the park. So if you ever find yourself in Fuji-Q Highland visiting the Labyrinth of Fear, go to the back of the park. It's near some water ride with some golden cats waving at you.
Cool.
Yes.
That's lucky for money.
Yes. So the path leading up to the house was kind of on theme. It there were like some lanterns and some little skulls around, and it was playing just like spooky sounds, like literally.
Perfect.
It's like, all right, hell yeah. And so I come in, and I know on the internet there's lots of questions about if you can or cannot do the house by yourself, because sometimes they don't let you in. Right. November 2024, I went in by myself. So there's your answer.
There you go.
Yeah. And the gate attendant who let me into the house, he knew English, which was awesome. So I was able to have a little bit of familiarity there before I entered this house that changed me. And also, before I entered this house, the facade was incredible. It was gorgeous. It was an abandoned hospital. There was like an abandoned old ambulance. It was beautiful. So they let us all in. They let in 6 groups at a time. And so we all get to sit on these benches in this big room. And there's like little old tube TVs just scattered around the area playing just static. And then up front on the projector screen, they do the first pre-show because there's more than one pre-show.
Love it.
Nice.
Yes. Now, this one was in full Japanese and no subtitles, so I didn't know perfectly what was going on, but from my understanding, it was like the doctor of the hospital talking about his experiments and stuff. Okay. And then, of course, it starts getting glitchy and scary, and then I think, hold on, let me pull up my notes for this one. So the screen's getting all glitchy, and then all of the little TVs everywhere, they glitch out and they start showing like CCTV, like security footage of inside the hospital, which was super creepy, but super awesome to get surrounded on every side by just like the video of the pre-show, which was awesome. So once that ended, we're led into another hall, and we all go separately into rooms in our little groups. So me being by myself, I entered this one little room, and there's a second pre-show video. This time there was English subtitles. Thank you. I appreciated it. But it was more of like a found footage, like from the patient's perspective,
Okay.
as well as like the journalist had come in.
Nice.
And spoiler alert, they scare you real bad here. So there's like a moment in the video where like a jump scare happens, and when that happens, the bench you're sitting on like jerks and moves and vibrates.
Amazing.
And there's
Ooh.
lights that flash and it scares you. And what I didn't realize was that they take a picture of you in that moment.
Nice. Yes.
Yes. So you'll get handed a ticket after that, and hold on to that, because at the end you can cash it in and get a photo if you want. Which, fun fact, my ticket number was 221, my radio call sign.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I know. And I told the guys that, and they're like, "What's 221?" I was like, "Are you
Amateur
It's
hour.
fine.
So once that's over, then we all line up to enter the real house. Okay. And I'm lining up, and I'm like, I don't know what to expect at all. And then the guy hands me a flashlight, and I'm like, are you kidding me, sir? And I look behind at everybody else waiting for somebody to like adopt me into the group, but no one's saying anything or looking at me. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here? So I walk into the house with this flashlight that's super dim. It sucks. I don't recommend this flashlight. Bring your own batteries, bring your own flashlight. It was scary. And so basically you just travel through the hospital. And something that I noticed, that the very first thing I noticed was the way that they lit all of the scenes. Because I'm used to the John Carpenter School of Haunted lighting, where you show the audience what you want them to see with your lights. So you point their eyes. But this one, they didn't have any show lighting. It was just like regular, practical in-house lighting.
Nice.
So it was just like the low glow of old hospital lights, and like you're using your flashlight to like try and see what's in the shadows beyond the glow. And something that this house also has is there's a bunch of staircases. So unfortunately, it's not accessible for everyone.
Right.
Because it's not even like, oh, you hit the staircase at the halfway point and then you just continue on upstairs. You are constantly going up and down these stairs.
Oh, okay.
And where these staircases are where the chicken doors are. And I think maybe like by the time I hit 20 minutes, I was ready to go through a chicken door.
No!
I was getting so scared. And unfortunately, like the staircases were the breathing moments, because I was like, there's no way that they would ever scare me on a staircase. So at least I know here I'm safe.
Yeah.
But then I was like, shit, I gotta keep going.
Right.
And another thing that this haunt did was every room felt really, really isolated. Now, I went on like a random Sunday in November, so I don't know if this was like not a busy time of year for them. I don't know. It was raining that day. But like I could not hear any other guests in the house getting scared, which made it so much scarier for me, because it felt like I was on my own.
Yeah, that makes it much worse.
You were on your own.
Literally, I was like, I don't know what's worse, being alone or not being alone right now.
Yeah.
And another thing I noticed was the audio design. So there was no like music playing, and it wasn't like loud. It was just like small, simple, quiet, just like but also like whether I was hearing actual footsteps or they were playing footsteps, I don't know, but it was getting me. Like I felt like I was getting followed the whole entire time. It was just so scary. And I'll talk about one of the most memorable moments for me. And I believe this was about the halfway point. And this area was like the warehouse, like loading bay for a hospital. So there's big bay doors, and I had to walk down. And then I stop at this one bay door. I have to go through it, and it's not opening, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And I'm like, oh my God, hurry up. What's behind the door? What's in this room with me? What is going on here? And then silently, it just shoots right on up. And that scared the poop out of me. I was like, I can't believe the door opening silently. It scared me. What is this? Where am I?
That's so good, though.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. They really
Yeah.
think about like a little bit of everything with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I believe that was used as like a timing thing to help with the throughput, because right after this door, I have to get into an elevator.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, okay, I'm familiar with elevators.
Yes.
Like, I've been here, done this. Maybe this will actually be fun for once instead of as scared as I am right now. So I go into this elevator, and that door could not have closed slower. Oh my God. Oh my God. The psychological torture. I'm like, and whether there was someone who was following me, or I just made it up in my brain, or it was the sound system, I was convinced that something was coming for me, and this door was closing so slowly. So slowly. And then at the halfway point, it stopped.
Oh
So
no!
am I stuck between a rock and a hard place? I can't see if anything's going to come join me in my rock and a hard place. But then the door finally closes. Nobody came in with me. I lived to tell the tale. And what really got me, which I was shocked about, was I'm used here in North America, I'm used to elevator rides, or elevators that are like rides, you know?
Yeah.
So like the floor is bumping, you're jumping. It's a crazy, crazy moment.
Right. The simulator versus
and-
actual elevator
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, and this elevator didn't do that. The ground vibrated instead, and that
Oh.
was so much worse. Because it was like suddenly it was touching me, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it was in my intimate bubble. It was
I understand.
Yes.
yeah. Yes. And there was no like TV screen either to watch like a video or anything. It was just an enclosed elevator, and it made it feel quite believable, honestly. And then it got worse once I got out of it, because I exit and here's a big paper sign that says, "Place your flashlight here." I was like,
you have to
Like,
stop
no.
using it now.
No.
yeah, so it told me a few things. It told me, one, that people will listen to a paper sign, and like
Yes.
that no incidents have happened where they've had to have somebody standing there. But another thing it told me was, oh, there actually weren't any actors this whole entire time, because I had a flashlight with me. And now that I'm putting this like what could accidentally become a weapon away, now there's gonna be actors.
Right.
So at first it was just all your subconscious terrifying you, and now you have that you're scared. You have to
Wow.
step into the actual part where the people are going to be at you.
That's
Yeah.
full psychological torture.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it
This house
so much.
literally edged me for half a kilometer.
Yes, it absolutely did.
Don't you hate it when that happens? I
Right?
don't.
No comment.
Like, it was literally every room I was walking into, there would be like I'd walk through this door, and one side it would be like part of the room, and it would look honestly like a traditional scare zone that I'm used to inside of a haunted house, but there wouldn't be anybody there. And then the other way would have to be the way that I would go, and that was happening in almost every single room. And I was like, where the hell are these damn actors?
Yeah.
They're not there. So the second half, I don't have a flashlight. It's even darker. And I'm like starting to like hear actual spooky, scary things. And I'll tell you about my first run-in with an actor. So I come up these stairs and I go into this long hallway full of lockers, and at the very end is an actor.
Oh,
It's just like in
my
scrubs,
God.
just hair in front of the face, doing their thing. And I'm like, oh no, I have to walk towards this person. What do you mean? So I'm walking slowly, trying to make small talk, like, hey, I'm one of you. You probably don't understand this, but you do it great. And then I hear, or no, sorry. And then I see this actor move to the side. And I'm like, huh? And then behind me, boom, boom, I hear these big footsteps.
No.
And I look around and there's an actor sprinting at me at full speed. So I hook my arms into my backpack straps and put it into sport mode, and I take off running and screaming. And I scream all the air out of my lungs. I take a deep breath, scream some more, and this hallway is still going on. So I have to take a third breath to continue screaming and until finally I turn left, and I think I'm running and yelling like, you did so good.
Thank you so much for the terror.
Yeah, literally. And then finally I catch up to another group. And this was, I think, the second group I had caught up to. The first one, they're like, oh, go ahead. And I was like, no thanks, go ahead. Yeah. Shit, okay. But this group, thankfully, they adopted me. One girl knew a little bit of English, and they're like, come join. I was like, please, kudasai. Like,
yeah.
Which definitely lowered the fear factor a bit, but like it was still like burning inside of me. Yeah. Like at least there was other people to feel it with me, but like I'm still in scary mode.
Right. Yeah, because at least you can like trip some of those people, and then the scary people can get them, and then you can get away. Like there's still chance that you will die, but just not first.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I totally get it. Survival mode. It's understandable.
But also because I was in a group, then I kind of missed a couple of scares, but that's okay because I was getting scared enough. And there were barely any animatronics inside this house. But I'll tell you about one that I did see because it was just the most beautiful thing. I only saw it after it had done the scare, which was, it was like this burnt body on a stretcher, and the stretcher had like collapsed. So the body had slid out and the arm was just dangling there. And I remember walking towards it thinking like, oh, that's so neat. The way that the arm is dangling, it like kind of feels like it's grabbing you. Or like grabbing for you. And then it reset itself, and I saw that it was an actual animatronic, and the arms and legs were very slowly moving, and I was like, wow, this is beautiful.
Cool. That's awesome. I like that.
But yeah, and like towards the end of this house, the rooms were getting grander with more and more stuff. Like there was a giant room, and we had to crawl through a car to get out, and then again, this house also had an actor chase us out of the very last hallway. And he comes sprinting towards us. And this was the one single time that it took me out of the haunt, because I looked back at the very last second and I saw him like walk away to reset. And that was the only time that I was pulled out of the experience.
Right.
But outside of that, it was just, I was so wholly, fully immersed. I had no idea where I was. I had no idea what to expect. It was just incredible.
That's amazing. That sounds so fun. That sounds like we need to go.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think in total, because I was speed walking and did a couple of sprints, it took me about 40 minutes to get through this haunt. But yeah, no, I definitely recommend going with other people. Like I would absolutely do it again, but only if I had other people, because I know that this house would still scare me. Like the other night I was watching videos just to like refresh my memory before this, and like I'm getting scared in my bed, like watching these videos.
I'm like, safe at home. I'm safe at home. I'm safe at home.
Literally,
it can't get you here, Alexa. It can't get you here.
No.
Just psychologically.
Just emotionally. Yeah.
Yes. But no, they did such a phenomenal job, and I'm so happy that I got to experience that. I feel so lucky.
It sounds very special.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
What other haunts did you want to tell us about?
I would love to tell you about Daiba Haunted House.
Sure.
This So Daiba Haunted Schoolhouse is what I learned after going through it was the third scariest haunted house in Japan. And this was the day before I went to the Labyrinth of Fear. Because I was looking at my notes and I was writing like, this is the scariest house I've ever been in. Nothing will ever top this.
Surprise, surprise.
I was wrong. But I've like coined it the little house that could. Because this house, it was located in a mall and it was not very big. Like, I think the smallest haunted house that I work in right now is, I don't know, it's under 40 by 60 tent.
Right,
so
yeah.
whatever the math is that. And it felt smaller than that.
Okay.
And so there was like a little backstory for it that you could read on like a brochure. It was in Japanese and English, which was awesome. And then when they let you in, they of course tell you the rules and stuff, which it was a pretty English friendly haunted attraction, which was awesome. And they gave us, there was 6 of us, and they gave us a rope to all hang on to.
Oh, keep us all together.
Yeah. Keep together.
Yeah, to keep us all together. So we go into the first room, and on a little TV, it then, like, it's a video of the backstory for the haunted house. And of course, it's doing the same glitchy thing, and there's audio on the front and back, so we're like getting scared all around us, which was incredible. And then I was like, I want to be first. I'm a full-time haunted house person, and I'm gonna be first in this house because I'm brave.
That's how they get you.
So we walk into the next room, and like there's like switchbacks of tables that you have to walk across, so you can see the whole entire room. And we see the actor just like scurry across the back. He comes in as fast as he left, and we just stood there like,
what just happened?
what do we do now? And we stood there for so long that the audio stopped playing in the room.
Oh my God.
Whether it was intentional or not, I don't know, but it made it scarier.
Yeah, that's good.
And like, you know, of course, because I'm still there doing my homework, I'm like looking at everything, and I'm looking at the lights, and like they were just small little pin lights that I've recognized from like one of like the first types of pin lights used in the haunt that I work in now. So I was like, oh, how interesting. And like the speakers that they used were just like simple computer speakers or like CD players. So very, very simple, humble, low budget house. Yeah, it still is rightfully so the third scariest house in Japan. And there was one scare that happened where he scared us right in front. And I did the whole domino thing because I rocket launched myself back into my group, and we all went tumbling down.
Oh no.
Which was incredible. And like the lighting was so dim and the sight lines were so poor that you had no idea where the actor was ever going to pop out of.
Yeah.
And there's this one hallway that we had to go down. It was just a bunch of white linen sheets, and they were just billowing in the wind, you know. And then we get halfway and they stop. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And of course we get scared in these bed sheets by the actor, and we're running around, we're getting lost. We don't know where we are. And then like in the final room, so this haunted house, there was an objective for the guests to do, which was incredible. And we were given a little paper amulet, and we had to find the shrine to put it on, and then say, I think, rest in peace or something.
Right.
And so once we did that, the vibes of the haunt totally shifted, and like it was like suddenly the house was encouraging us to GTFO ASAP, because next thing I know, we're all running for our lives, getting chased by an actor again out of this house. And it was just, it was so much fun. And the actor came out after and like gave us a bow and stuff. And it was like, what do you mean there was only one single actor in there? And what do you mean he was like just in like a hoodie?
Oh my gosh,
that
I love
is
that.
amazing. That's like the definition of less is more.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes that is the case. Like,
Absolutely.
You have to sometimes dumb it down.
Yeah.
And go back to fear basics.
And you don't necessarily, and it's also a beautiful thing of like, yeah, you don't need it's nice to have like the big animatronics and the big budget for the audio and the lights and everything, but
sometimes you don't need it.
Sometimes you just need like computer speakers and a good like shadow cast. Like really, it's about playing on the imagination. And I think that it sounds like they really have that dialed in over there.
Yeah, you could definitely tell in these haunts in Japan that like their go-to was like silence and like suggestion, you know.
Cool.
There's nothing that's loud and proud in your face. It's up to you to figure out what's scaring you.
Yeah,
I like that.
Which I mean, it's like you can see it in the type of movies that they have over there in Japan too, and everything. It's like it is so different. Like Western culture here is just like, we are here, we are going to show you everything, and it's the spaces in between that I think they kind of mastered over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was just so incredible getting to experience the way that a different corner of the world approaches their haunted attractions and horror. Something that was really cool about these places too was like I was with people that were not from the same place that I was from, that do not speak the same language or have the same culture, but we were all still feeling the same thing, and we were having a fun time doing it together, which I think was so cool. And if there was one thing that I could bring back to Western civilization, would be the culture, so that we could go as hard and as crazy as they do at their haunts and not have to worry about bombs or hammers or
injuries,
big bombs, or people doing not so good things.
People being naughty.
Aw, not nice.
Not
nice. Okay, so if there was, like you said, you would bring back the culture from like Japan and over there to Western culture if you could. But is there anything like for your own tech-wise work that you brought back, or anything that like inspired you when you came back home for your work here?
Either that you wish you could put into your work, or
or
things
perfectly.
Or things that practically.
Well, you know, if there's one thing that these haunts taught me, is that they don't need animatronics to be scary, and it started making me nervous about my job.
That is very valid.
That is true. But you're always going to be important.
I hope so.
You will. Don't worry. I got you.
Absolutely.
Thanks. I think, I don't even know. Like, I just want to bring all of it back. I think like the elevator in particular.
Yeah.
That moment is just like glued to my fascia. It had such an impact on me that I would love to bring that in. And to somehow like better isolate rooms inside of a haunted house, I think would be so neat. I don't know how you do it.
I know.
With like when you have crazy nights where you're getting 1,000 people in your house, like I don't know how you do that. I'm very curious what some of these haunts are like during like their busy seasons.
Yeah.
And if it still would have been as quiet and as isolating if there were dozens and hundreds of guests in a haunt. But I think like I was really, really impacted by what some of the actors were wearing, like specifically those dolls with the giant heads. I was like, okay, I need that now. I needed that yesterday.
Just the oversized, over exaggerated pieces.
Yeah. And like, sure, it looks fake, but that's the point, you know, like you can get away with it not being so realistic. And like, I'm still questioning where some of these actors were seeing out of, because they did such a good job of hiding anything that made them remotely human. That like, there was nothing there to pull you out, which was so neat. But to be completely honest, I would love to bring these dance parties back. Like that has always been my dream, to just stop, drop, and like dance. Flash mob. Let's go.
I was about to say stop, drop, and flash mob.
That's actually pretty fun.
Yes. Oh, and if anyone's curious, the song that they were dancing to was "Show" by an artist named Ado. Ado.
Okay. Ado. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
I'll have to look that up.
Heck
afterwards.
yeah. Maybe even like look up the dance party, see if they have
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
yes,
so cool.
it's definitely like I was searching it up on TikTok before here, and like the only things they're on like Halloween Horror Nights Japan TikTok is just the dances.
Okay,
All
cool.
right, then we know exactly where to go look.
yes, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much coming
Yeah,
on
thank
here,
you,
Alexa.
Alexa.
And
Thank you for having me. This
Well-
was incredible.
yeah, fuck, man, your trip, the scary or not, like makes me just want to go do
Yeah.
that now. Okay. So that's our next
We're
plan.
going to
we're going to Japan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and like these haunts, like you don't have to know a lot of Japanese to go and experience them,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
incredible to not have to be so nervous about a language barrier and then have that barrier just completely removed because fear is the same in every language.
Yeah.
Is anybody can go.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth. And like storytelling, good storytelling is transcendent. of
Exactly.
language, too.
Yeah.
So because it makes you feel an emotion, and therefore,
Well, I mean, that's the thing is like body language and all of that. It
Everything.
like says more than just words,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
So, and sometimes you don't even need real words to
ain't that the
get your
truth?
point across at all.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think that is it for this episode, guys.
Yeah.
If you've been to Japan and you have seen any of these houses that Alexa's talked about, please let us know. If you know of
Please, please,
other
please, please,
ones,
please,
let us
please.
know. If
Mhm.
also don't limit yourself to Japan. If it's Scotland, Ireland,
Germany,
Bali, anywhere. I want to know about the
we
weirdest.
want to know.
Ooh, I want to know
Yes.
the weirdest place that you
Yeah.
wouldn't think is a haunted house, but you have gone to.
Yeah.
That'd be so
I'd be
cool.
into that.
Yeah.
Okay, Alexa, our listeners want to know where they can find you for all of your haunted house adventures. Where can they do so?
Ooh, I'm on Instagram. I'm at Alexa-ish. And you will find me there posting more about this my trip to Japan and all of these haunts. And every now and then I'm on there about work.
Yep.
Oh, and actually I want to give a shout out to there is someone on Instagram that's posting a bunch of photos from their trip to or from Halloween Horror Nights Japan.
Okay, cool.
Shit, what's their name? Because like I thought that I saw a reactor, and this person's posting so many people, and I'm like, who the hell was where when? Who are these people?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this Instagram account is Harudori, HARUDORY.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been down the biggest rabbit hole on their account of all of these gorgeous, gorgeous photos that they've taken of Halloween Horror Nights.
Okay,
So
cool.
thank you, Harudori, for doing that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You'll have to send us their link.
Yeah, send us that link.
So we can include it in the description for this episode because that would be awesome.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's amazing. Hopefully we have a few people who will want to follow you along in your adventures and any other future adventures that you go on.
I know that we will be.
Yes, absolutely. Forever and always. Thank you again so much for your time. And I'm so excited for people to hear all about this episode and the adventures. And it's been so much fun.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you for having me, and thank you for having this platform where people can just listen to people talk about haunted houses all day.
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. Okay.
Well, I think on that note, other than planning our next trip to Japan, I
Yeah.
think that about wraps it up.
yeah,
Courtney, where can they find us?
they can find us on Instagram
Yeah.
at Just Haunted House Things.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us on Facebook,
Ooh.
which is that starting to feel like an old person thing.
It
but you can
100%
find us
is.
there.
It 100% is.
We no longer have a TikTok. At least I don't think we have a TikTok.
Well, I mean, TikTok's a thing. It's not a thing. Let's not invest
Listen,
time into something that may or may not.
I
be.
also am just terrible at posting content on TikTok, so just don't bother.
We're in the middle between where Facebook is too old, but TikTok is too young.
Yeah,
That's why we Instagram.
Instagram. But you can also find us if you want to support the channel
And
you
buy us a
want-
coffee.
And you want to buy us a coffee, you can find us at buyusacoffee.com/JHHT or just Google buymeacoffee.com, Just Haunted House Things, and you will be able to find us. You can also find merch over there if
Heck
you really
yeah.
feel the need to have a Just Haunted House Things toque and or sweatshirt. That's where you can find it. And
There's also an inquiry on there. So if you want to share
Correct.
your crazy stories with us, if you want to tell us of something crazy that's happening, did happen, will happen, we want to know.
Yeah.
Spooky,
Yes.
creepy,
Yes.
haunted,
Yes.
slightly haunted, maybe
Little haunted.
possessed.
Possessed.
Yeah, all that. That's
Yeah.
we want that.
We want to know.
Hit us up.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm Courtney.
And I'm Brienne.
And this has been
Just Haunted House Things.
Woo, yeah.